The Beaver Health and Medicines Committee met virtually today, the 4th of February. We discussed the cascade. The cascade has become a bit of an issue of late because of the CMA's inquiry into the veterinary marketplace. And the CMA and Beaver agree with them that have recognised that there are times when the cascade results in increased costs for clients. There have obviously been well publicised incidents of drugs being licensed and then the price going up substantially, and similarly there are times when the cascade limits access to more reasonably priced agents. But equally we recognise the cascade is quite a thoughtfully worded piece of legislation that does offer veterinary surgeons considerable freedom when selecting agents to treat horses with. And our proposal at this stage is we're going to do a series of webinars and lectures and actually exploring some good case examples around the use of the cascade. We discussed vaccines, potential vaccine shortages. There are two proposed solutions. The first is to have a bank of vaccines available. We have some concerns about how commercially viable that will be. The second is to have pre-authorization with the VMD for vaccines from around the world. So if there's a shortage in Europe or in the UK, then the authorization is already existing where vaccines could be imported from elsewhere in the world, so there's no further delay. We were pleased to see that MonitorME, the antibiotic audit, is making excellent progress. That will be going live in a few days. We already have results from over 100,000 horses. Please, if you haven't taken part, do go to the MonitorME website. There's instructions there. All we need is to know how many of each class of antibiotic you've used and how many horses you've treated. Please let us know. We did discuss anthelmintics. We have a meeting with some of the registering bodies of the SQPs, the suitably qualified people, and the Canter project is probably going to be co-hosted with BVA and with VMD and probably RUMA, the Responsible Use of Medicines Alliance. Mention that there's been an issue with liver failure with horses being treated with SGLT2 agonists. That's been noted in Sweden, and so we're keeping an eye on that. Gentamicin, you'll be aware there's been a series of reactions with the gentamicin licensed for use in the UK. The alternative that initially was available by SIC has also been associated with some reactions. The VMD are now offering a third alternative, which is coming from Ireland, which is only 85 milligrams per mil. But they steer SIC straight there, so there should be no significant delay in getting there. One thing we noted there, in similar to the issues with the cascade, is that this has resulted in the cost of gentamicin coming down to about 10% of what it was previously. And brings us back to our previous concerns. How can this be justified that a product could cost 10 times more in one country than it does in a neighbour? The beaver ectoparasiticide guidelines will be going live very shortly. It turns out I was the limiting factor, but I've read these now, so they will be going out very soon. And lastly, we discussed the EMA, the European Medicines Agency essentials list. This is a list of drugs that can be used to treat horses in the food chain with a 6-month withdrawal. And they've taken a lot of agents off them, particularly anaesthetic drugs. We recognise the problems that this can cause for welfare, that if a horse is suddenly taken out of the food chain, its end-of-life costs can become significantly more and may result in poor welfare. We are supporting our colleagues in FEVA, the Federation of European Equine Veterinary Associations, in dealing with this. Thank you.